Right now, our chances for snow return heading into the work week. Dave is backtracking when we might see even more of those early season flakes. And from private to public, new developments from Washington overnight suggest we could soon hear testimony from top officials as the impeachment inquiry transitions from behind closed doors to television.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now This Morning.
Good morning. It's 6:30 in the morning on November 3rd. I'm Keely Arthur, in with meteorologist Dave Caulfield. Good to see you, Dave.
Great to be back.
I know you were talking about yesterday the fact that you're a new father, so you're usually up this early anyway.
But it definitely feels a little bit better this morning.
Yes. Speaking of that, it is. Thanks to that, we have an extra hour of sleep. We hope you already moved the clocks in your home back an hour, and if you didn't, this is your friendly reminder to do so. Even with that extra hour, most Americans do not like this twice-a-year ritual. A new Associated Press poll finds 7 in 10 people do not want to switch back and forth to mark daylight saving time. Dave, how do you feel about that?
Well, I love this one. I hate the one in the spring.
Yes.
So if we could move back another hour twice a year, that would be great. But I'll tell you what, the clock on my stove and microwave is going to stay the same until March. So, yeah, I don't change those.
Oh, no. I feel like I have to go in your house and do that for you. That's going to make things confusing.
Keely's going to go Marie Kondo on me.
How will you get here on time to tell us the weather?
Well, luckily my phone is usually right by me. Tracking radar usually on my phone, but right now we're tracking radar on TV. Doppler track showing a few light snow showers and flurries south of Madison, closer to Greene and Rock counties. So we may see some flakes flying this morning south of Madison, but really not going to have a major impact on our weather. The rest of us going to see partly to mostly cloudy skies today. A little bit of that nice sunshine popping up in Madison on the WISC-TV Skycam, but we can also see those clouds still hanging tough for many of us. Temperatures right now are in the upper 20s and low 30s across the area, so off to a bit of a chilly start, but temperatures will warm up through the 30s throughout this morning. Highs should be in the lower to middle 40s with mostly cloudy skies, an outside chance of a rain shower this afternoon. Better rain chances move in later tonight. So here's a look at your first alert traffic update. Taking a live look at the Beltline and Fish Hatchery Road, looking pretty quiet on this first day after daylight saving time. There we go. I just want to get that right. Here is a look at your traffic map. Lots of green showing up. No major accidents or incidents to report. Traffic generally heading out at the posted speeds. Right now, eastbound Sauk City to Middleton on Highway 12. That's 17 minutes with an average speed of around 60 miles per hour. And that's your first alert traffic update.
And I know we saw a little bit of snow yesterday. I did downtown. What are we seeing in terms of today?
So we have these small chances in the forecast basically every day, but I think our next best chance of seeing some minor accumulating snow comes Tuesday night into Wednesday. We'll talk more about that in your first alert forecast.
All right. Thank you so much, Dave. Well, new this morning, CBS has learned the House Intelligence Committee subpoenaed the White House's top national security advisor, John Eisenberg. He'll testify behind closed doors on Capitol Hill tomorrow. This comes as the impeachment inquiry into President Trump is expected to transition soon to public testimony before millions of American viewers and voters. Meanwhile, President Trump continues to defend his phone call with the Ukraine leader that set off the inquiry. He headed to a mixed martial arts fight in New York overnight, but had the ongoing battle with House Democrats on his mind.
We did absolutely nothing wrong. We had a totally appropriate, I even say perfect conversation with the president of Ukraine. Everybody knows it.
As early as this week, transcripts of closed-door depositions on Capitol Hill could be made public. That's prompted mixed reaction from congressional Democrats and Republicans.
The American people will get to see, both with the release of the transcripts and with the conduct of the open hearings, that they're fair and they're equal to both sides.
You don't need a quid pro quo. You just need the quid, and the quid was there.
Never known an impeachment process to go through the Intel Committee. The president's lawyers are not going to be able to participate, and the minority Republicans are not going to be allowed to call witnesses unless Schiff agrees.
House Democrats are also hoping to hear this week from John Bolton. He's the president's former national security advisor. Bolton has indicated he will not testify without a subpoena. Well, better news from California this morning. The fires that have been ravaging the area for the past 2 weeks now are more than 70% contained. So far, more than 115 structures have been damaged or destroyed. And now firefighters are facing a new challenge. This video shows the moment the Maria fire ignited on Halloween night. Utility company Southern California Edison says it re-energized a high voltage power line just minutes before the fire started. As of this morning, the Maria fire is only 20% contained. That fire is burning near the cities outside of Los Angeles. Extra evacuation orders are now in place. The teen who was shot and killed more than 2 months ago in Fitchburg would have turned 18 Saturday. So far, investigators still have no answers as to who is responsible for this death. Police have not given any updates on this case in weeks, only saying it has been a resource-intensive investigation. Now, Watson's family and friends gathered to celebrate with a memorial walk and birthday cake yesterday. Watson's brother says he wants to keep his brother's memory alive.
Last night I was in my car and I was coming home from work and I was thinking not about today, but about the next birthday and the next one when there's not a walk anymore.
Officials say investigators are still pursuing leads and tips for the homicide of Shay Watson. No arrests have been made, and Watson's family has even created a fund to reward information that leads to arrests of a suspect. Airbnb has officially announced it is banning all house parties following a Halloween shooting that left 5 people dead in California. Co-founder and CEO Brian Chesky made the announcement in a series of tweets this weekend. 5 people were killed Thursday night during a Halloween party at a rental home in the wealthy San Francisco Bay Area. Police said 100 people attended that party, despite the renter believing it would be used for a family reunion of just 12. Chesky says his company will now create a dedicated party house rapid response team to handle future situations. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention has updated the number of lung injury cases associated with the use of e-cigarettes or vaping products. There are now at least 1,888 cases nationwide and at least 37 confirmed deaths in 24 states and the District of Columbia. However, doctors are warning the 37 deaths are just the tip of the iceberg and say the effects of e-cig lung disease are worse than they could have imagined. More local news now. The Madison Police Department wants to know what you think about the job they're doing. Right now, you can rate how officers in your neighborhood are doing on everything from being visible on the streets and fighting crime to treating people fairly. Those questions are included in the community survey, which also asks how worried you are about things like break-ins and assaults in your neighborhood. The survey only takes a few minutes to fill out online. You can find a link to it on our website, channel3000.com. Well, Aaron Rodgers might be getting one of his favorite targets back as the Packers head to Los Angeles this afternoon. Davante Adams is still listed as questionable for now, though. The team is hoping for win number 8. This is the first time the Packers have won 7 of their first 8 in the Aaron Rodgers era. From big wins on the road in Chicago, Dallas, and Kansas City, the Packers appear to be one of the most complete teams in the league so far this season. You can see the Packers host the Los Angeles Chargers right here on CBS at 3:25. Well, time right now is 6:38 and it's brighter than usual thanks to daylight saving time, and you'll want to enjoy this while it lasts. Here is a look outside. Dave has your full first alert forecast next. And also still ahead, we'll introduce you to the month's top-notch teacher and the impact he's making on his students every day. Thanks for watching.
Good morning. I hope your Sunday is off to a great start, and I hope you enjoyed that extra hour of sleep. We are seeing some daylight earlier because of that time change in Madison on the Edgewater Skycam. Still mostly cloudy skies. That sunshine was really tough to come by yesterday. I think it will be a little bit more prevalent in today's forecast, but we're still going to go with partly to mostly cloudy skies for much of this Sunday. Highs, though, will be in the lower to middle 40s, so a little bit closer to normal, but still running about 10 degrees below where we should be for this time of year. Check out our sunrise and sunset times, though. So our sunrise just a few minutes ago at 6:34, but that sunset 4:47 in the afternoon. We're getting into the time of the year where it feels like you blink at around 4:30 and that sunset occurs. So just keep that in mind going forward over the next couple of weeks. Temperatures are in the upper 20s and low 30s to start us out on this Sunday morning. And as far as scraping, I know I had to let defrost do some good work this morning. So over the next hour or two, I would just let defrost do it because temperatures will be rising into the 30s pretty quickly. And because we are going to see those temperatures mainly hang out above freezing over the next 24 to, we'll call it 36 hours or so, I really think the precipitation that we see is going to be in the form of rain for the most part. So this afternoon, can't rule out a quick rain or maybe some snow showers mixing in with that rain at times, but really our best rain chances come later tonight into early tomorrow morning. That's when we expect to get wet. Not expecting heavy rain. This is going to be light to moderate shower activity overnight, and then we should be dry for most of Monday and most of Tuesday as well. And we could see that on future tracks. So again, a few blips on the radar later this afternoon, but really not expecting too much. Those better rain chances arriving later tonight. Note the time, this is around 8 p.m. So tonight, if you're still out at maybe some football festivities, you may see some showers, and then we also could see some showers for the start of that morning commute tomorrow. But most of the day is dry with highs in the low 40s. And then on Tuesday, starting off in the 30s, we'll see plenty of sunshine on Tuesday before some snow showers develop late Tuesday into early Wednesday. As far as rain totals go, we're looking generally at about 1/10 to 1/4 of an inch. So really not a major player there, just more some nuisance rain showers. 10-day forecast is showing the 30s returning Tuesday and Wednesday. Again, next chance of some minor accumulating snow will be Tuesday night into Wednesday, generally thinking less than an inch at this point.
Certainly getting an early start to the winter.
Oh, absolutely.
Great. All right.
Yay.
Thanks, Dave. Well, teaching can be tough, and teaching students with special needs truly takes someone extraordinary. In our latest top-notch teacher story, our photojournalists Kathy King and Charlotte DeLeste found a teacher who is excelling in the role.
So you know you can make this shorter.
Students at Orchard Ridge Elementary mostly have good days, but there are times when it can get a little challenging.
You might be walking through a tunnel, it's dark, you just don't see the light, you just keep going and going and going. We feel like it's no hope, but then, bam, it's light.
Light and hope. That's what Dominique Harvey is striving to provide as a teacher.
I just think about the younger me. How I wish somebody would have talked to me growing up, and someone actually like sit there and who I feel like really cared about me.
Mr. Dom, as he's called, grew up in Chicago.
At first, I wanted to be a social worker.
But he later realized he could make a bigger impact being a teacher.
Growing up, I had a disability in reading, math, speech, and writing. So I kind of relate to the kids, like when they get frustrated or feel insecure. Like, I feel like that's one reason I decided to come to special education, to be that push and advocate.
As a cross-categorical 5th grade teacher, he's making sure he's that positive reinforcement he wished he had.
I'm stupid, I'm dumb. I'm like, why? Explain to me why. And they be like, because I can't do it. I'm like, I can't run. Don't make me stupid. If you sit down and just listen to your kids, it helps a lot.
After all, having hope is never a bad thing.
There is a light at the end of the tunnel.
And you can see that light shine brightly in his students' eyes.
Mr. Dom, congratulations on being a top-notch teacher, and thank you for what you do every day. If you know a top-notch teacher, please nominate him or her. Go to channel3000.com and under the News tab, click on Education. It's there that you'll find top-notch teacher nominations. Well, time right now is 6:47, and if you could talk to your younger self, what would you say? That's the tough question one woman is answering after spending 15 years behind bars. Her note to self is next on News 3 Now this morning, Sunday. Welcome back. Centoya Brown Long made headlines when she was sentenced to life in prison at age 16 for killing a man she says picked her up for sex. She was granted clemency earlier this year after spending 15 years behind bars. Now at 31 years old, she shares intimate advice for her 16-year-old self as part of the CBS series Note to Self.
Dear Centoya, I know you're anxious and you feel alone right now, but I want you to know that God hears you. You don't have a driver's license, you haven't voted, or even made it to prom.
Do you understand why you're here?
Yes, ma'am. But today, you're in juvenile court, praying that you will not be tried as an adult.
Brown claims Allen was reaching for a gun when she shot him.
I'm thinking he's gonna hit me or do something like that, but then he rolls over and reaches, like he's reaching to the side of the bed or something, so I'm thinking, no, he's not finna hit me. He's finna get a gun. I just grabbed the gun and I shot him.
And although you will be told that you're gonna die in prison, I'm here to tell you that's a lie. A wild swing of events is about to take place that will cause you to question whether God even exists. But just keep your faith and trust me when I say He hears you. I know right now it seems like all you ever hear is talk of what a horrible person you are. You've been called a whore, a murderer, incorrigible. But I want you to know that you are so much more than the worst thing that you've ever done. I know that as a little girl, you felt like an outcast when kids talked about your hair or skin color. And this moment is no exception. But know that a day will come when you could care less what people think of you. There's a fire that burns inside of you that will eat up any obstacle that dares to stand in your way. You don't realize that yet, but you are bigger than anything that anyone tried to do to hurt you. Yes, there will be many lonely nights that lie ahead of you. You'll spend some time believing that the world is against you and that you may never be happy again. You'll be exploited and mistreated by people for years to come, including your own biological mother. And you'll have your hopes of freedom dashed repeatedly. They'll attack your character, your family, your marriage, your faith. But none of what they have to say defines your self-worth or your happiness. Stay focused on your calling. You will learn that there are many people from all parts of the world who support you, who believe in you.
What do we want? Madison! What do we want? Now!
I ask that you see to the restoration of Miss Brown to our community.
I visit Centoya every week, and it's just been such a pleasure to get to know her.
Please allow her the opportunity to give back to society.
You will know once again that happiness is meant for you too. And through the people who mistreated you, you will know forgiveness. And it will bring you a freedom that you can enjoy even when in prison. Most importantly, though, you will forgive yourself. It'll be hard, and it'll take many years, but you will love yourself again. You can't see it now, but God is going to use you in a mighty way. Through you, He will give a voice to the voiceless. You will speak up at every opportunity to encourage justice, freedom, and mercy for the oppressed. And that prayer you prayed, the one where you promised God to tell the world about Him if He freed you, that will come to fruition as well. You'll one day get the chance to tell the world every detail of your journey through the system and how God freed you from it all. Never forget what I told you from the beginning. God does hear you.
Powerful stuff right there. There is a full hour of news ahead on News 3 this morning, Sunday. Next, we're running through the morning's top stories. But first, here's a preview of what's to come on an all-new For the Record.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Neil Heinen. Today on For the Record, a conversation with 2nd District Congressman Mark Pocan. Our topics include the health care sign-up window, legislation to help more people move to economic security, and, of course, impeachment. That's coming up this morning at 10:30 on News 3 Now.
Right now, as we prepare for winter, a few things to keep in mind as you bundle and buckle up.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning. It's November 3rd. I'm Keely Arthur. We'll get a check on weather with Dave in just a second, but first, here are 3 things to know as you get your day started. CBS News has learned the House Intelligence Committee subpoenaed the White House's top national security advisor, John Eisenberg. He'll testify behind closed doors on Capitol Hill tomorrow. This comes as the impeachment inquiry into President Trump is expected to transition from private doors to public testimony before millions of American viewers and voters. House Democrats are also hoping to hear from John Bolton this week. He's the president's former national security advisor. Bolton has indicated he will not testify without a subpoena. And Airbnb has officially announced it is banning all party houses following a Halloween shooting that left 5 people dead in California. Co-founder and CEO Brian Chesky made the announcement in a series of tweets this weekend. 5 people were killed Thursday night during a Halloween party at a rental home in the wealthy area of San Francisco. Police said 100 people attended the party, despite the renter believing it would be used for a family reunion of just 12. Chesky says his company will now create a dedicated party house rapid response team to handle future situations. And the Packers are hoping for win number 8 as they face the Los Angeles Chargers away this afternoon. This is the first time the Packers have won 7 of their first 8 in the Aaron Rodgers era. From big wins on the road in Chicago, Dallas, and Kansas City, the Packers appear to be one of the most complete teams in the league so far this season. Kickoff is at 3:25, and you can watch the game right here on our channel. And I am dreaming of some sunny California weather, Dave, and it doesn't look like you have that in store for us.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's not the name of the game with this forecast, although maybe a little bit more sunshine by the time the Packers kick off later this afternoon. But really, we're looking at partly to mostly cloudy skies for much of this Sunday. Platteville, we did see a little bit of sunshine earlier, but already behind the clouds on the Queen Bee Radio Skycam. Doppler track showing a few light returns close to the state line, so some flurries possible across Greene and Rock counties over the next couple of hours. But I really think most of us will stay dry for this morning and into the afternoon. Can't rule out a slight chance of a quick rain shower this afternoon, but our better rain chances arrive tonight into early tomorrow morning. Temperatures are still in the upper 20s and low 30s across southern Wisconsin, so off to another chilly start. But I do think those temperatures will warm up a little bit faster than yesterday, just because we have slightly less cloud cover and some stronger southerly winds, helping those temperatures get into the lower to middle 40s by this afternoon. So not quite as cold on this Sunday, and we'll have to get those forecast improvements anywhere that we can. Now let's take a look at your first alert traffic update. Taking a live look at much of Dane County. No major accidents or incidents to report. Traffic is generally heading out at the posted speeds. Your drive times this morning on Highway 12, eastbound Springfield to University Ave. That'll cost you 5 minutes with an average speed of around 55 miles per hour. And that is your first alert traffic update.
All right, thank you, Dave. Nearly 2 of every 5 young children who die in car accidents are not restrained properly. Up to 84% of seatbelts and car seats are misused at a critical level. And this time of year, parents have another factor to worry about. Our Danica Lewis explains.
Bundling my kids up, putting scarves on, make sure they have everything, and we're prepared for school. Hi, everyone.
It's a process Rockman Weatherby estimates adds at least 30 minutes to little Christian's getting ready routine.
My daughter is a diva. She likes to coordinate her clothes every morning.
Add an 8-year-old son to the mix.
Such a hand.
And Weatherby says removing all of the layers before loading up in the car just isn't practical.
Not at all. As a parent, you got to bundle up and get to those destinations and then get back.
If you have a puffy winter coat, it's definitely noticeable that it makes it a lot more difficult to get the seatbelt tight.
Even so.
Do you want to climb in?
Elsa Gum says when it comes to 4-year-old Saren and her older sister,
It's always a matter of choosing your battles. So it's get in the car and get to school and try not to be late. Do you want me to finish it for you? Yeah? And so taking coats on and off an additional time is usually not a battle that I want to fight. All right, we're in.
It is an extra step, but it's an important one to keep those kiddos safe.
All set?
Usually by this stage, they're able to kind of climb up themselves.
Sherry Faust is a child safety educator with the Safe Kids Coalition.
Look at that chest clip.
Her job is to teach parents about things like the pinch test.
And I can't grab any to take a tuck.
And other factors that ensure car seats are protecting their young passengers the way they're supposed to. That mission becomes harder the more layers are piled on.
We really want those harnesses tight to the body, not that outerwear.
Faust encourages parents to take off the coats, the fleeces, the thick sweaters, all of it, or drape them over the straps.
We want to reduce those injuries, so keeping the harness tight to the body helps the child to ride down the crash with the car seat and not become more momentum and faster and cause injury.
Because whether you're bundling up or buckling up,
Tucked in away.
it's precious cargo you don't want to risk.
We just want to make sure our children are warm and safe on the way to school and back home.
Danica Lewis, News 3 Now.
The Safe Kids Coalition has free car seat checks on a regular basis for any parents who want to make sure theirs is installed and used correctly. We have information on their next few events on channel3000.com. More local news now. Crews are hard at work installing the annual holiday lights show at Owen Park. Electricians from IBEW Local 159 are working through Thursday to make the attraction come to life. The holiday fantasy in lights display brightens up the edge of Lake Monona November 9th through January 4th. The show is free, but donations are used to keep the attraction going. And it's a waiting game for farmers this weekend with the early arrival of snow putting them at a standstill. Now farmers have to wait for all of the snow to melt off the plants and crops before harvesting can continue. But even then, the ground will be more saturated than usual, which makes moving machinery difficult.
With all the snow on the ear and on the plant, when this goes through the combine, the snow will plug up our sieves on the combine. And so then that prevents the grain from falling through and us to be able to capture it.
Farmer Nick Vendables still expects the crops to survive. He says he hopes to get back into the field this coming week. Sticking with the holiday spirit, eBay says every Friday will be Black Friday through December 13th. On those days, shoppers will find Black Friday-worthy prices on popular holiday gifts. The site has already announced some of the items it will sell on future Black Fridays, but you have to wait until the day of to see the actual price. The people putting together the 93rd annual Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade this year are out making some final touches to some of their biggest attractions this weekend. This is the only occasion where balloons will be up in the air as practice runs for preparations for the real event. Some of the new balloons featured this year include astronaut Snoopy, green eggs and ham, and SpongeBob SquarePants.
This is really kind of our final moment, the last time we're going to see these balloons up in the air, in flight, before we pack them away and get them ready for the parade. So we're really looking to show them off, make sure everybody gets to see them, all the handlers get to handle them, and that the city of New York gets to sign off on them.
The 93rd annual Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade will take place in New York City on Thursday, November 28th. Well, fresh off their celebratory parade, the Nationals are heading to the White House tomorrow, but one of the team's pitchers will not be there. Sean Doolittle has declined to visit. In an interview with the Washington Post, he says he made the decision because he doesn't agree with how the president is handling himself in office. The relief pitcher told the newspaper that he didn't want to be a distraction for his teammates who want the experience of meeting the president. And looking ahead, the Wisconsin men's basketball team opens the regular season Tuesday against St. Mary's in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. The Badgers are coming off an exhibition game win against UW La Crosse, 82-53. A lot has changed since the team went 23-11 last season, exiting early from the NCAA tournament. The Badgers have lost both Ethan Happ and Khalil Iverson, but the remaining players and coaching staff remain optimistic about their chances.
It was good to get out and play and see some different combinations. I like the way we played for the most part. Other than shooting the line, which we'll shoot it better. I think it was good for lacrosse too, and obviously good for us to run around and guard some of that stuff. And it was a completely different look than what Iowa State gave us. We jumped right into deep water, obviously Tuesday night with St. Mary's, and we're looking forward to it.
It's nice to get out and play against other guys. So I think just as a unit, we've kind of taken that step forward. Really improved a lot since the red and white scrimmage, and I think we're ready for the regular season to compete against some of the best programs in the country.
St. Mary's, the Badgers' Tuesday opponent, is ranked 20th in the country right now. You can watch the game on ESPNU at 8 o'clock. Well, time right now is 7:09, and you might want to spend some time outdoors cleaning up your yard if you can finally see those leaves. Fall collection continues this week. We'll share what you need to know. But first, here is a live look outside. Dave has your full first alert forecast just ahead.
Good morning and happy Sunday. We're off to a partly sunny start across southern Wisconsin on this Sunday. Maybe a little bit more sunshine compared to yesterday, helping those temperatures get into the low 40s by this afternoon. Doppler track showing a fairly quiet conditions across much of the upper Midwest. We do have an area of some very light snow showers and flurries south of Madison. So across Greene and Rock counties, maybe a few snowflakes for the next hour or so. We're really not going to impact our weather much for today. As far as snow depth goes, you may have noticed the snow sort of disappear over the last couple of days. It was definitely a slower melt compared to that first round, which basically melted that afternoon. And in some spots, we still do have some snow amounts on the ground, generally less than an inch, though, across much of southern Wisconsin. Our next chance to add to that snow depth will be Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, where there could be some very minor snow totals across southern Wisconsin. Nothing too much to worry about, but we'll keep an eye on that for sure. We're also keeping an eye on this glorious sunrise in Madison on the WISC-TV Skycam. We'll call it partly sunny skies right now, and with partly to mostly cloudy skies on the way for today. A little bit more sunshine compared to yesterday. So high temperature trend will be in the low 40s over the next couple of days, and that's a warm up compared to where we've been. But don't expect that quote unquote mild air to stay in town very long, because we're in the upper 30s Tuesday and Wednesday, and about 20 degrees below normal for Thursday and Friday as a strong high pressure system moves through. And we can see that on the upper air pattern as well. You see a shot of colder air getting those temps into the 30s and 20s at night by Tuesday. Also a chance of some minor snow on Tuesday night into Wednesday. And then Thursday, another shot of cold air comes our way as that high pressure moves in from the Rocky Mountains and from Canada, from the west. And then a little bit milder air on the way for the weekend before possibly another shot of colder air. It really does look like all signs continue to point to a colder than normal November in general, and a very cold next week to 2 weeks of November across southern Wisconsin. On future track, a few rain showers, not snow showers, possible later on tonight, and then into tomorrow. We also could have some light rain showers around. Then into Monday afternoon, we should be dry with highs in the low 40s. We should stay dry for much of Tuesday as well. It's Tuesday night into Wednesday when our next chance of some minor accumulating snow comes our way. We should be quite sunny on Thursday and Friday, and that's going to seem deceptive because temperatures are only going to be in the upper 20s, Keeley. So we're getting to that time of year where we see that sunshine. We can't necessarily assume that it's warm outside. We have to test the water, so to speak. So we're definitely going to need those heavy coats into the end of next week.
Deceptive is the perfect way to describe this season so far.
Yes,
Right.
I think so.
Thank you, Dave. Well, we've been asking you to share your morning with us, and check out this gorgeous photo sent in by Mona over in Scotland. Thank you so much for sharing. What does your morning look like? Take a picture and post it on the Channel 3000 Facebook page or on Twitter using the hashtag MyNews3Morning. We will share our favorites right here on News 3 this morning. The Halloween snows caused some delays, but curbside leaf and yard waste collections continue this week. The Madison Streets Division is collecting bags or loose leaf yard waste piles that can be identified under the snow. To find out when crews will be collecting in your neighborhood, you can check our pickup schedule map on the cityofmadison.com/yard waste. Well, time right now is 7:17, and searching for some fresh lunch ideas? Well, we are here to help. It's National Sandwich Day, and the folks from Cousin Subs joins us in studio with some ideas. That's just ahead on News 3 this morning, Sunday. Welcome back. It is National Sandwich Day, and Cousin Subs joins us in studio with some innovative sandwich creations you might want to try as you pack your lunch this week. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
And I think it's great that we have you here because Cousin Subs is kind of a Wisconsin brand.
Absolutely, yeah. Founded in 1972 in Milwaukee, and we like to keep those connections to Wisconsin strong, whether we're using Wisconsin dairy for our cheeses or our milkshakes, or connections with the Bucks or with UW here, or with the Packers. It's important to us.
It's a Wisconsin situation.
Wisconsin,
Okay,
yes,
so and today, National Sandwich Day.
Absolutely.
How is Cousin Subs celebrating that?
We're celebrating by offering all of our guests a buy a sandwich, get a sandwich free special offer.
Great deal.
Yep, absolutely, great deal. So they can come on into participating locations, and those are all of our across the state. And so, grab that coupon online, come on in, and get yourself a free sandwich.
So they'll make the sandwiches for you if you go there today.
Yes.
Anyone watching, but we're gonna make some sandwiches ourselves here.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna put you to work. So yeah,
All
we're
right.
gonna get started here, and I'm gonna get the bread cut for you.
Yeah, you can handle the
We figured
heavy duty.
that's the tricky part, and every great sandwich starts with great bread. And so at Cousins, we bake our bread fresh every single day because that's the right way to do it.
It is great
There's
bread.
no other way
yeah.
to. Yeah, absolutely. So what I'm doing is I'm ripping out some parts in the middle here to make room for all the great stuff that we have in the sandwich. You want to make sure to get every ingredient in every single bite. So we're going to start with the mayonnaise. The trick to putting the mayonnaise on, make sure there's no pockets, get a nice even spread across all of the bread there, and it likes to hide in the corners and things like that.
Yes.
So we prevent it from doing that. So you can go ahead and start with the mayonnaise there. Perfect.
So a lot of people obviously are trying to be health conscious and things like that. What are some ways that people can lighten up their Cousin Sub?
Well, I would start with the mayonnaise. That's usually the biggest one. We have other options that you can put on there.
That's my favorite, though. I can never cut out the
I
mayonnaise.
understand. That's why we start with it. We understand how difficult it is.
Yes.
So we'll move on to the lettuce. We build them from the bottom up. But other sauces like mustard is a great option to get some kind of flavor on there without the mayonnaise. That would be the biggest one. We use fresh vegetables, fresh meat, fresh cheese, freshly sliced, and so those things are all going to be. You don't have to worry about those.
Pile it with like flavorful veggies
absolutely.
instead of maybe.
Couldn't agree more.
But we're in Wisconsin. We need the cheese.
So we need the cheese. That's the next step. Absolutely. So
And
2
do you
pieces
fold
of
it or you
provolone.
just lay
We
it?
leave that flat.
Okay.
But what we're going to do is we are going to fold our ham.
All right.
When we put it on there. And the trick to making a good sandwich on sub bread is not putting all the meat in the hinge. Once you fold that sandwich again, you don't want it to end up like a hot dog with all the meat in the middle and the back. Nobody likes that.
That is
And
what
so,
ends up happening so many times. So good
exactly.
advice
So
there.
yeah, you got to mind the hinge, like minding the gap. You got to keep that away. So as we build the sandwich up here, we're going to move on and put some tomatoes on. So 3 tomatoes go on top.
All right.
There you go. I'll let you grab some
lettuce,
tomatoes.
And then some seasoning.
Yes,
to kind of-
absolutely. Throw some onions, about a ½ ounce of onions on top there, and then we give a sprinkle of oregano right on top.
And there you have it.
That's it. Yeah,
Delicious
absolutely.
sandwich. I have my breakfast now.
Yeah,
Love it.
absolutely.
All
Very
right.
good.
Well, thank you so much. Remember, you can head over to Cousin Subs today and get a buy one, get one free deal. Very exciting. And stay with us. There is a half-hour news still ahead on News 3 this morning, Sunday. Next, we are running through the morning's top stories. And still ahead, the Music Man is coming to Janesville. Coming up, we're headed backstage with Michael Bruno to check out the latest local production. We'll be right back.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning. It's November 3rd. I'm Keely Arthur. We'll get a check on weather with Dave in just a second. But first, here are 3 things to know as you start your day. Shea Watson would have celebrated his 18th birthday this weekend. He's the teen who was shot and killed more than 2 months ago inside his Fitchburg home. So far, investigators have no answers as to who is responsible. Police have not given any updates on this case in weeks, only saying it has been a resource-intensive investigation. Watson's family and friends gathered to celebrate with a memorial walk and birthday cake for what would have been his 18th birthday Saturday. You can hear from them by watching their full story on our website. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention has updated the number of lung injury cases associated with the use of e-cigarettes or vaping products. There are now at least 1,888 cases nationwide and at least 37 confirmed deaths in 24 states and the District of Columbia. However, doctors are warning the 37 deaths are just the tip of the iceberg and say the effects of e-cig lung disease are worse than they feared. And 'tis the season. Crews are hard at work installing the annual holiday lights show at Olin Park. Electricians from IBEW Local 159 are working through Thursday to make the attraction come to life. The holiday fantasy in lights display brightens up the edge of Lake Monona from November 9th through January 4th. The show is free, but donations are used to keep the attraction going. And Dave Caulfield is in. Dave, please tell me it's not beginning to look like Christmas already.
Well, I mean, it has been since about Halloween across southern Wisconsin, but I do think temperatures will hang out mainly above freezing for the next 24 to 48 hours. That's something to, I guess, look forward to, although some snow is possible as we get into Tuesday night and Wednesday. Right now, though, looking at a good dose of sunshine on the WISC-TV Skycam. We'll see partly to mostly cloudy skies throughout the day, helping those temperatures get a little bit milder by this afternoon. A few light flurries and snow showers showing up on radar, at least, may not be hitting the ground across Greene and Rock counties, but don't be surprised if we do see a few snowflakes over the next hour or two. Really not expecting major impacts there into the afternoon. Temperatures right now are starting off on the chilly side once again in Madison at 29, 30 in Janesville, 29 in Watertown, and 32 in Mineral Point. That's about 5 degrees cooler than we started off yesterday morning, and we'll be about 5 degrees warmer by this afternoon, I think, with partly to mostly cloudy skies. Can't rule out a quick rain shower this afternoon, but I think most of us cash in on those rain chances as we head into tonight. That's when our next system comes into town. Now let's take a look at that first alert traffic update. Pretty quiet right now on the Beltline and Fish Hatchery Road. No major accidents or incidents to report across Dane County. Traffic heading out at the posted speeds pretty much everywhere. Your drive times this morning, northbound Janesville to the Beltline, that's 27 minutes on the interstate. Average speed of around 65 miles per hour. And that is your first alert traffic update.
Thank you, Dave. New this morning, CBS News has learned the House Intelligence Committee subpoenaed John Eisenberg. He's the White House's national security top legal advisor, and he's going to testify behind closed doors on Capitol Hill tomorrow. This comes as the impeachment inquiry into President Trump is expected to transition soon from behind closed doors to public testimony before millions of Americans and voters. Meanwhile, President Trump continues to defend his phone call with the Ukraine leader that set off the inquiry. He headed to a mixed martial arts fight in New York overnight, but his mind was on the battle with House Democrats.
We did absolutely nothing wrong. We had a totally appropriate, I even say perfect conversation with the president of Ukraine.
Now, as early as this week, transcripts of closed-door depositions on Capitol Hill could be made public. That's prompted mixed reaction from congressional Democrats and Republicans.
The American people will get to see, both with the release of the transcripts and with the conduct of the open hearings, that they're fair and they're equal to both sides.
You don't need a quid pro quo. You just need the quid, and the quid was there.
Never known an impeachment process to go through the Intel Committee. The president's lawyers are not going to be able to participate, and the minority Republicans are not going to be allowed to call witnesses unless Schiff agrees.
House Democrats are also hoping to hear this week from John Bolton, the president's former national security advisor. Bolton has indicated he will not testify without a subpoena. Better news from California this morning. The fires that have been ravaging the state for the past 2 weeks are now more than 70% contained. So far, more than 115 structures have been damaged or destroyed, but now firefighters are facing a new challenge. This video shows the moment the Maria fire ignited on Halloween night. Utility company Southern California Edison says it re-energized a high-voltage power line just minutes before the fire started. As of this morning, the Maria fire is only 20% contained. That fire is burning near the cities of Ventura, outside of Los Angeles. Extra evacuation orders are now in place. More local news now. Before it was a film in 1962, The Music Man was a Broadway musical winning 5 Tony Awards in 1957. A revival in 2000 produced a new generation of fans of con man Harold Hill and the gang. Now Janesville's 2 high schools are presenting a joint production of The Music Man later this month. Our Michael Bruno goes backstage and sits in on a recent rehearsal.
The consonant K especially bothers me, all right? Clear Lake, picnic, back.
What the heck? You're welcome. Join us at the picnic. You can have your fill of all the food you bring yourself. You really ought to give Iowa a try.
So I'm in one of my favorite places, the costume shop. We're going to meet one of the 2 Mary the librarians in The Music Man. Hi.
Hi.
So tell me a little bit about the show itself, about The Music Man.
Okay, so the show is a classic. Everyone knows Music Man. It's about a con man who comes to River City, Iowa, and he falls in love with my character.
I love you madly, madly, Madam Librarian. Marion, it's a long lost cause. I can never win.
Bigger,
For
bigger.
a civilized world accepts as unforgivable sin. And you talking out loud with any librarian, such as Marion.
Through a long process of me resenting him and basically overcoming that through him just loving on my little brother and then showing the town this beautiful
I could
color.
lie on your floor unnoticed till my body had turned to care.
Right in her face.
Marion.
Spin her to me, gently. The last spin, you're gonna take her and just dip her. Okay. Right, dip her, and then roll her out. Yep. 5 and a 6 and a 7 and an 8. Lay 1, 2, 3, 4. At that point,
you took it. The sun back in the sky.
Light a rose, oh, won't you be mine? Light a rose, oh, light a rose, oh, light a rose.
Obviously, you know the stage play, but there's also a wonderful movie that was made of it. Are there any differences between the stage play and the movie version?
Yes, in the movie, the scenes are very different. They can be brought from one scene into the next very easily, and with ours, it's kind of like we're stationary in that, so we really have to work with that with our dancers, and just making sure that it's perfect the first time that we do it, and we don't really have the luxury of changing the scene from 2 seconds to the next second.
Chest up.
It's almost like, you know, this is like the first rap musical in there, so obviously,
Yeah.
how did you like practice for all that?
It's going. I mean, really, it's just a matter of running it and running it and running it and doing it with the tracks over and over and over again. 76 trombones caught the morning sun with 110 cornets right behind. There were more than 1,000 reeds springing up like weeds. There were horns of every shape and kind.
Here it is.
There were copper
Listen.
bottom timpani and horse platoons.
Da 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 da.
Unbuilding, thundering all along the way. I got to the point where before I went to bed every night, I was at least listening to the Robert Preston soundtrack or running it myself.
To the rhythm of march, 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 all the kids began to march, and they're marching still right today.
And you can catch The Music Man at Craig High School and Parker High School. It's showing at 7 o'clock, November 8th, 9th, 15th, and 16th. There are also some matinee shows. Coming up, the early season snow is reminding us what winters look like in Wisconsin. Cold, dark, but you also have a chance to take advantage of Madison's indoor beauty. We have some ideas for local getaways your family can book on any budget when the folks from the AC Hotel on the Square join us next. News 3 Now this morning. We'll be right back.
The 8 episodes have been...
Welcome back. Thanksgiving is weeks away, but it already has fans of the show Friends celebrating. Fans will be able to watch all the show's classic Thanksgiving episodes in movie theaters. The episodes will be screened at 700 movie theaters across the U.S. on November 24th and 25th. 4 episodes will be shown each day. Locally, they'll be shown at Point Cinema in Madison and the Palace in Sun Prairie. Well, I know where I will be. And you don't have to give up on a great Capitol view as temperatures drop and patios close this time of year. Grab your family and head to a local hotel for a staycation. We have here with us Jen Lavacek from the AC Hotel to share some reasons why people can stay put and still have a really great vacation. Good morning, Jen.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
So what should people know? I mean, I know right now I'm kind of like, oh, I just want to go to a beach, but there's a lot to do still here in Madison.
There really is, especially at the AC. It's a great location for people just to enjoy the downtown area, bring Madisonians back to the Capitol Square and the surrounding downtown area. The AC is a wonderful place to have a staycation. People have that you know, off the square feeling. We're right at the top of the isthmus where we've got views of the two lakes, the Capitol Square, you know, just being within touching feel of that Capitol view. We also have the AC Lounge where our infamous bartender, Craig Spalding, will make you a signature cocktail. And then hopefully you've also made a reservation up at Enovino at the top of the hotel and have an amazing dinner, as well as having that Capitol view backlit as you're having dinner. I mean, what better ambiance is that than that?
It really is a fantastic location to do so many different things. And what are some deals that you have to help lure people to you?
We do. Right now we're currently running a kind of a winter discount, staycation type of field discount. Starting now, it's already in play for Thursday through Sunday evenings. And we are also going through February 14th with that. So not only at the AC, but also with some of our other hotels here in the Madison area. So especially with the holidays coming up, if you've got a lot of family and friends coming to the area and maybe you don't have room in your house for everyone, look at our hotel discounts. There's some really great things to have happen, and especially if you are starting to have the kids have some cabin fever over the holidays. Go to a hotel, spend the night, have some fun, go swimming, enjoy the area, and get to know the city again. Just bringing everybody back to Madison and having some fun and just reconnecting and having a good time over the holiday season is really important.
It is always an adventure when you go to a hotel, even if you're in the same city. And something that's so great about your location is how close you are to the downtown area,
Absolutely.
to the square. So people can walk to a lot of different activities.
Oh, absolutely. There's so much to see and do within a 3-4 block radius. I mean, you could come into AC, spend the night. You can, you know, even just keep your coat at the hotel and not even leave and just enjoy and reconnect with family, friends, your significant other, as well as also too, right down the road, you go to the Overture Center, go to the Comedy Club. Just even take a stroll through the Capitol and enjoy the season.
I can't think of a better view than Enovino to see some snow kind of falling down the Capitol. Gorgeous.
It's amazing. And just to sit, have an amazing meal, and then look out and see that Capitol within touching distance of when you're eating and enjoying yourself. It's an amazing view.
Yeah, proof that you do not have to travel far for a great view.
You do not.
All right.
And bring everything back to downtown.
All right. Thank you so much, Jen, for waking up. We appreciate it. And you are about to take a live look over the Capitol. Speaking of that, Dave is back with your full forecast next on News 3 Now This Morning, Sunday. But first, let's take a look at who is turning 3 today. Happy birthday to Lucas and all the other kiddos celebrating. We'll be right back.
Good morning and happy Sunday. Whether or not you enjoyed the extra hour of sleep, we're getting some daylight earlier, although the clouds could move a little bit. That would be nice, right? In Madison on the Edgewater Skycam, looking at mostly cloudy skies. Once again, maybe a little bit more sunshine compared to yesterday, and that will at least help get temperatures into the lower to middle 40s for highs by this afternoon. Still running at about 10 degrees below normal. And speaking of daylight, yes, we get the sunrise earlier, but check out this sunset time, 4:47 in the afternoon. So really it gets to be that time of the year pretty soon where it feels like you blink and you miss that sunset, and it's 4:30 at night. At 4:30 it's light out, and 4:31 it's dark. Such is winter, such is life across southern Wisconsin. Off to a chilly start in Madison at 29, in the low 30s to the south. And I don't think that we'll see really any measurable precipitation for today, but tonight that becomes a different story. We did see a trace of snow in Madison yesterday with some flurries, but I really think the name of the precipitation game is going to be rain over the next couple of days. So bring the umbrella out tonight. Overnight into early Monday morning, I think those rain chances are pretty high. But then for the rest of Monday and into most of Tuesday, I think we'll actually be dry. Now that changes Tuesday night into Wednesday when we could get some minor snow totals as our next system comes into town and slightly colder air does as well. Now a lot of leaves out there now that the snow has left the ground for the most part. So over the next couple of days you'll have your opportunities to rake, that's for sure, but the ground's going to be a little bit damp and you will have to dodge some showers at times. On Tuesday, I think most of the day is dry, those winds are pretty light, and the ground should be a little bit drier as well. If you can wait till Tuesday, that looks like the best day for getting those leaves out of your yard. Future track, temperatures will rise through the 30s this morning. Outside chance of a quick shower or two this afternoon, but I think most of us stay dry until we get into tonight. Next system comes into town, and I think most of this will fall as rain, if not all of it, because temperatures are staying in the upper 30s and low 40s. That's going to be sort of a chilly rain, though, so not going to be the most pleasant weather tonight into tomorrow morning, but we're dry Monday afternoon with highs in the low 40s, and we're dry for most of Tuesday as well before we do get those snow showers back into town Tuesday night. As far as precipitation totals go, generally about 1/10 to 1/4 of an inch, so nothing too major. Light to moderate showers, really what we're going to see tonight into tomorrow, and then cold for Thursday and Friday with temperatures in the 20s. A quick look at your pet walk. Cooper and Monroe, the right idea, all bundled up there, although temperatures not as cold today in the lower to middle 40s.
Cooper will need to add more layers as we head into the week.
Yeah, especially Thursday and Friday.
All right, thank you, Dave. Well, it is game day, and the Packers are hoping for win number 8. This is the first time the Packers have won 7 of their first 8 in the Aaron Rodgers era. From big wins on the road in Chicago, Dallas, and Kansas City, the Packers appear to be one of the most complete teams in the league so far this season. You can see the Packers play the Chargers right here on CBS at 3:25. Time right now is 7:50, and after we broke a record for the most snow in October, you might be looking into some snow removal services. We'll tell you how to find one you can trust tomorrow morning on News 3 this morning beginning at 4:30. But first, from crisscrossing the country and coping with depression to celebrating an epic journey, we hear from the singer who just returned from his walk across America. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Finally this morning, singer-songwriter Mike Posner just finished his 2,800-mile trek across America. Oh my goodness. The musician behind hits like I Took a Pill in Ibiza says he pushed himself to live in the present after coping with depression and the death of loved ones.
Jamie Yukas caught up with him about completing his epic journey.
Walked across Ohio, took me 50 days.
Each step 31-year-old artist Mike Posner took on his journey was a climb.
There is something gorgeous underneath the pain.
He experienced a physical and emotional battle of wills.
Not one morning did my alarm go off 4 a.m. Did my body go, get up and walk, dude. 0 times. You go do something hard and you finish it no matter what, you're gonna find some beauty in yourself.
What did you find?
I'm a tough son of a gun.
Life hit me in the face, but I didn't run.
Not even a rattlesnake bite, miles from the nearest town in Colorado, could keep him down.
That venom, that poison started to go through my body, and remember the end of Looney Tunes? And the circle gets smaller and they say, that's all, folks.
6 days in the hospital and 2 weeks of rehab.
Peace.
Somehow Posner stayed positive through it all.
That day was fun, man. I rode in a helicopter. They put me in the ICU, nice air conditioning and a nice bed.
Legacy.
Picking up where he left off, Posner kept going and kept growing, his soul leading the way.
No drugs or no alcohol, 'cause I'm high as it is.
No drugs. That's a shift from his monster hit released in 2015.
I took a pill in Ibiza to show Avicii I was cool.
I want everybody to think I was cool, you know. I still have to battle with that. Does everybody like me? It's like, dude, it doesn't matter.
If I wanna move.
His collaborator Avicii took his own life last year. Posner also lost his father to cancer and friend Mac Miller to a drug overdose. Coping with depression and grief pushed him to get his life on a better path.
What do you think the biggest lesson is that you learned along the way?
How to not be a coward. I want to become somebody I'm actually proud of. You know, that's why I went on this walk. Somebody said, who inspires you? Who's your hero? I want to be able to look them in the eye and say, me. I'm my hero.
Look what I've become. Look what I've become.
Jamie Yukas, Los Angeles.
Pretty cool. Would you go for a walk across America today?
I mean, I used to hike a lot.
All right.
I wouldn't hike that far, though, so good for him. And inspired journey,
It
for
is.
sure.
And if he was walking here, he'd have to wear lots of layers.
Yeah, I think so. With temperatures off to another chilly start, at least we have a little bit more sunshine compared to yesterday, at least to start us off in Madison, the WISC-TV Skycam. Temperatures have moved into the low 30s, so at the freezing mark in Madison, 34 in Janesville, still at 29 in Lone Rock. For this afternoon, can't rule out an isolated rain or maybe even a snow shower, but I think most of us going to be dealing with those partly to mostly cloudy skies and temperatures not as chilly by this afternoon in the lower to middle 40s. Rain moves in tonight and into tomorrow morning. We're dry most of Monday and Tuesday for some minor accumulating snow possible Tuesday night into Wednesday.
Lots to cover. Thank you so much, Dave, for hanging out with us this weekend, and thank you for watching. Have a great day.